you have been hitting us in our comments about making how-to videos. Right now we're staying with our mother-in-law for our time being home, but we check on our RV probably twice a week. The reason being is because we're not weekenders, we live in here, so like we have to make sure if there is a problem that we get it fixed immediately. Any stenches fixed immediately. I wouldn't suggest that for anybody, that you just park your RV at storage and you let it sit for months without checking on it. I would check on it at least every week, if not once every 2 weeks. Alright, so before we hook up, I generally like to just come to the trailer, make sure everything looks good as far as like the tires. None of the tires are flat. We were just here yesterday and we checked all the tires and stuff, so tires are good. First thing I like to do after that, I'll take off my coupler lock, which isn't the easiest. So a coupler lock, I see a lot of people at RV parks, they do not use these. So in an RV park, you are, I would say, about 99% safe not to have to use this, but the percentage of times that you're in an RV park is going to be up to your style. So if you're a boondocker, which we like to boondock and use RV parks, when you're boondocking, you are out in the wilderness, generally nowhere near anyone else. So you want to make sure that no one can just come up to your truck with their truck, come up to your trailer with their truck, hook up and pull off with your rig.
To make sure those are up.
Yeah, well, so the only reason I have these down, generally I do not store my trailer with the stabilizers down. The only reason I have them down is because we were watching videos of RV storage throughout like the winter season, and it's better to have your stabilizers down for your tires, so your tires don't go flat and the whole trailer falls down. The weight of the trailer falls down on the tires. If you are a Ford owner and it's a late model Ford, before they had the backup camera with the lines that kind of show you where your truck will end up if you keep turning that way, I usually use this and I can hook up by myself, so it gives us more opportunity to be in separate places. So the wife can normally be inside getting the slide and everything ready to go in and getting the kids ready, snacks and lunch, while I hook up the trailer, and we can get two things done simultaneously. The kids are generally in the truck with me when I hook up, and she's kind of knocking out everything outside. So the coolest part about this is when you get close. So you can get decently close, and once you get to where you think you're gonna hook up, you can go even closer. You see my hitch ball alignment, I don't know if you can tell from that angle, it's not perfect. So like when I drop the trailer, drop the weight from the trailer to the back of the truck, it's not perfect. But if you're new to putting trailers on the back of trucks, this is pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna re-back this up, I'm gonna make it work. So I'm gonna kind of show you how that works. But yeah, as you do it more, you'll learn about how close you need to be. Maybe some of you guys are pretty perfect at backing up and you get it right every time. I'm not that guy, so I get it pretty close and then I just work it how I need it worked. So I'm basically gonna make this work by rocking my truck into the coupler. And that's where I said, like, as you do it more, you'll learn what's close enough. Now these pins here, this is what our hitch came with. We have a Trekker 1000. I'm assuming it's a 2019 model because that's when we bought the RV, and this is the hitch that came with it. It's more of an upgraded hitch. Like I have more of a degree radius than if you were to buy like a Kurt hitch. So I'm not exactly sure how much this costs if you wanted to look into it, but yeah, this is what came with it, and it has more of a turn radius than like a Kurt stabilizer hitch. So you definitely want to make sure that this is locked. So you're gonna have a slide right here. This kind of got us when we first started, because if you don't get it perfectly aligned, it'll slide and it won't lock, right? But it'll look okay. And we actually almost towed like that one time when we were super like new in the RVing. But yeah, now lock it. I like to put in my cable, and then I basically run my cable through that latch. This keeps it from going down and pinching in anything else down here. It keeps it all up top, so it won't pinch if I get into like a tight 90 or anything. So with the Trekker 1000s, we're gonna install one side, and it's the same on both sides for like the stabilizer hitches. So ours has these little notches, if you can see the notch. You slide it in, notch up. Pin goes from the outside to the inside, underneath, and then right over the top like that. So now, with the type of weight stabilization hitch that we have, you have to lift the truck. You have to lift the weight off of the truck back onto the A-frame. Take it up to where it touches the top here. But in some cases you're gonna learn as you tow, your trailer's on level, so one side doesn't need to go up as high as the other. So our hitch came with this little helper bar, and I'm pretty sure you'd be able to go to Home Depot or something and find a piece of metal that you could do this with if yours doesn't have it. But on ours there's a little pin right there. Slide that like that. Slide this up on the pin, and it has to be all the way, because you don't want to risk this popping off and hitting you. I'm telling you, it's not fun. So you put it on and you just roll it up top like so, and you'll see, I don't know if you can get under here, babe, but you see these eyelets, they all have to line up. So once those line up, you get a pin right here, put it in, front to back, the pin in, cotter key on the back, good to go. Now you can let the weight down. So now we're going to transfer the weight from the A-frame jack to the back of the truck. We got the weight off of the A-frame jack to the back of the truck. I like to put on my chains. And if you're like me, you researched how to hook up a trailer before you bought one. And some videos will tell you to cross your chains. Some videos will tell you it doesn't matter. After my experience of towing, I'm gonna just tell you straight up, it doesn't matter. Just put them both on. One on one side, one on the other side. I've tried both actually, just to see if there was an advantage. You can't really tell unless your trailer unhitches and uses a snatch change, which I don't want to happen anyway. So I couldn't tell that one way was better than the other. So I just put mine on. One side on one side on the other side, and my brake, emergency brake cable installed. I like to pull the slack back to make sure it's kind of even, and I always check that this emergency brake module is always in and flush as possible. Alright, so the last thing is this 1¼ inch wrench. If you own tools, you probably already have one, but ours also came with our hitch. It's probably gonna come with your hitch. You're gonna tighten these red nuts. You don't have to super torque them on. There's no torque value. They just have to be snug. So I like to give it one little snug. Oh, one more, good there. Now, after you've had your hitch for a while and it's broken in, and you've driven the freeways, you've probably driven back roads, and you understand how the sway works with your trailer, how it's loaded, and how you like to drive, you'll figure out, okay, I either want these more snug or less snug. I kind of snug them up depending on the wind. In my case, I know if I'm towing with a lot of water and there's a good amount of wind, my trailer likes to pull to where whatever side a semi wants to come on. So I'll tighten them up even more. I don't know if it helps or not. I feel like it helps me, but it may just be all in my head. So you'll learn that the more you tow. Alright, so I like to do a walk around. Everybody does it differently. A lot of guys online, they have checklists. I don't use a checklist. I'm pretty systematic, so like I always do a walk around the same way, but I'm sure the older I get, the more I'm gonna forget, so then I'll start making a checklist. But right now, this is how I do it. So I check my hitch. I also, when I finish installing my hitch, if I did it by myself, I make sure my wife looks at it before we go. She knows how to install the hitch by herself. She's done it. So she knows exactly what to look for, and she's actually found things that I haven't done either right or I haven't put it on yet. So, and it's usually the red nuts on top. I'll have it all hooked up and I'll forget to tighten those, and she always finds it. So have your wife learn how to put the hitch on. That way, if you're one day, you know, you're getting up early or you're leaving late and you forget something, when she checks it, she can at least tell you, hey, you forgot this, or this doesn't look right. That way you have two sets of eyes. Always better than one. All right, so my walk around, I like to come around, I check all the doors. So doors locked, we're good to go there. Stabilizers are up completely, so they're not gonna catch anything on the ground. I look at my windows. Windows are locked. Awning is in. This is very expensive to fix. Very expensive to fix. Like, we met people who don't even put their awning out at RV parks because they do not want their awning to get ripped off by the wind. So make sure your awning's all the way in. Doors locked. And then I just kind of touch everything. Make sure nothing's gonna come off with my hamstring. Because if it can come off with your hamstring, it's probably going to come off with the wind. Make sure my chocks are out. And on the truck, I have the parking brake set and we're all hooked up. So the chocks can come out, the trailer's not going to go anywhere. It shouldn't. If it starts rolling, you know you got problems. So I'm checking everything, making sure all my lights are on. Again, stabilizers are up. Stairs are up. And out of the way, this is what they look like when they're down. Just in case you're wondering. You don't want to tow like this. This would be a very expensive fix right here. So stairs are in, out of the way. Coming around, lights are on, lights on. I just give my tire a little shake. If it falls off, it falls off. I got insurance, but if it falls off from me shaking it, I can fix that before we leave. Lights are on up top. Lights are on the bottom. Again, I come around, I just check everything. Dump valves, make sure they're closed. The worst thing you can do is leave your dump valves open or have them halfway open, because when you're driving, all that water, good or bad water, is going to seep down right to the Valterra valve. And when you go to dump, it's all going to come out. So you just want to make sure that these are closed all the way. And you're good there. Everything's closed here, slides all the way in. Tires are good. Lights are good. Door again is good. And then this right here, boom, prime example. These little light covers come off all the time. That's why I give them a touch before we go. Gave this one a touch, it was good. Drove, what did we drive, like 5 hours? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5 or 6 hours, and it was gone when we pulled over at a gas station. I check, because I do a walk around every time we stop. I always check my tires. I recheck the trailer every time we stop. Checked it, it was gone. No big deal. We live in Arizona, it's pretty dry. So I haven't bought one yet, but we are gonna get a cap probably before you see our next video for sure. And then that's about it as far as the walk around. If you do those things, it's gonna save you a lot of headache. I have gotten into my truck without really checking over my trailer, and thank goodness we were good, but I wouldn't suggest getting into that habit. That was like a day that we were just off and we had to get out of there, and we were trying to fix a bunch of other things on the RV and we just didn't have time. But there's no such thing as not having enough time when you're full-timer. Take your time, do it right. It's gonna save you a lot of headache and money in the end. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps you guys out. Again, like, comment, subscribe. We got a lot of great people that are joining our community. Just to help us grow, like, comment, subscribe. Share the videos if you can, and I really hope this helps. Thanks for watching.